Russian President Vladimir Putin is the man many Russians credit with not only making Russia great again, but making it fit again. Earlier this month, the ex-KGB officer, who has been in power either as president or prime minister since 1999, announced he would run for a new 6-year term in office at Russia's presidential elections in March next year. An almost certain victory would see Putin, 65, in control of Russia for 24 years, the longest tenure of any Russian leader except Joseph Stalin. While Putin claims Russia needs a competitive political system, critics accuse him of stifling opposition, quashing dissent and restricting freedom of speech. Shortly after taking power in 2000, Putin set about closing down independent media organizations. Today, Russia's state-controlled media pumps out a steady flow of material to reinforce its good Russia, evil West narrative, just as the Soviet Union once did. Alongside glowing stories of Putin's achievements, news bulletins regularly feature frenzied reports of threatening and unjust actions by the West, both past and present. Apart from a few remaining independent news outlets reaching a minority of the population, this message has been drummed into Russian audiences for many years. Through this prism of victimhood and looming threats, Vladimir Putin shines as Russia's savior, standing up to the West, refusing to be cowed by its greater military strength. Talk of a new Cold War and an alarming deterioration of trust dominated meetings of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe in Vienna earlier this month. Tensions between Russia and the West/NATO, which have escalated since fighting broke out in Ukraine 4 years ago, were palpable, with each side accusing the other of hypocrisy, interference in other countries' internal affairs, failure to keep promises and disseminating false information. This year's OSCE chairman, Austria's foreign minister at the time and now Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, hosted representatives from its 57 member states, including Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. We must take a moment to step back from the brink, President of the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly George Turatelli told delegates in his opening statement, before stressing the importance of cooperation and dialogue to ensure mutual security. However, cooperation and willingness to compromise were in short supply, with each side digging in to push their diametrically opposed narratives. Delegates from most countries, including the US, Canada and the UK, strongly condemned Russia's annexation of Crimea and its role in ongoing violence in the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine, which has so far claimed over 10,000 lives. Other conflicts in the post-Soviet space including Nagorno-Karabakh, Transnistria and Georgia also came under scrutiny. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov rejected all accusations, continuing to deny Russian involvement in the region and placing all responsibility for increasing ceasefire violations recorded by OSCE monitors on Ukraine. Lavrov went on to lambaste the West for its reckless expansion of NATO, the deployment of US missile defense in Europe and its gross violations of international law, including direct support of coups d'état,